to us what you think of the subject before we follow up.
First of all, let me begin by saying all praises are to the Allah, the Lord of the universe. May peace and blessing be upon our beloved Prophet, his family, his companions, and for those who follow them in the righteousness until the day of judgment. As Brother Ali already discussed, that the topic is very important. This topic is very interesting, is very important because we are social human. We are not individual human living alone. We need people to interact with us, to help some our need in our daily life. Of course, we are living with many people, with community. That is why we need to understand this topic in order to know who will be our company in our daily life. That is why when we are going to talk about this topic, peer pleasure, we need to understand the definition, because when we are going to talk any subject, any topic, we need to understand it linguistically or technically. But I don't want to go into deep in this detail. But if we are going to talk about this topic, we can simply define this topic that peer pleasure is the influence you feel from a person or group of people to do something, meanwhile you don't want to do it, because you want to do something, but because you have friends or people who are around you and they encourage you to do something, because you want to be liked, you want to be loved by them, and then you are doing something, although actually you don't want to do it.
Yes.
It happened to children, but actually it doesn't happen to children only. We as adult people, we sometimes get influence from the people around us. If we are with our companies, with our friends, for instance, they are smoking, and we don't like to smoke with them. Of course, we feel that I don't want to hurt them, and then we are going to join them. So it's something bad. And also, if you are living in the West and many people are drinking alcohol in the party, dancing, drinking alcohol, and so far and so on, and they invite you to do the same thing with them, but actually you don't want, because you know that your religion forbidden these stuffs, and then you are going to drink, and then you are going to dance like them. So this is the peer pleasure, because in your heart you don't want to do this thing, but because of you get influenced by the people or by the friends around you, you feel, if I don't drink, they will hate me. If I don't dance, they will hate me. So you are doing something because of others, and you know that our religion has forbidden this thing. So the reason why the people get peer pleasure, because everyone wants to get respect, wants to get dignity or honor from other people. And actually, if we are going to talk about the dignity, about the dignity and honor only belongs to Allah. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ever said, Man kana yuridul izzata falillahil izzatu jami'an. Dignity that we have, actually, it's belong to Allah. We don't have any dignity.
And to the Prophet and to the mu'mineen.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. But if you are going to achieve the dignity or the respect for other people, but you are going to violate the law of Allah, it's something bad, because you cannot obey people about something that Allah has forbidden. So la ta'ata li makhluqin li ma'siyatillah. You cannot follow the people in the same time you are doing something sin to Allah. So
Yeah.
this is, I mean, something that we have to know. We as a Muslim, we have to know our identity. Many people who are living in the West, for instance, they don't know their identity well. I'm Muslim, but I'm not proud of being Muslim. This is the problem.
Yeah.
We need to understand our identity. We are Muslim, we have the religion, and also we have the friends. For instance, you don't want to drink, you don't want to dance with your friends, you have to act wisely. I think you can explain why Islam doesn't allow this thing wisely. But if you just say, I'm Muslim, I cannot accompany you, I cannot be friend with you, this is something bad, and also you will give bad image to Islam. We need to act and to and solve this problem wisely, I think.
Barakallahu feekum, Brother Luqman. I mean, you touched on very, very important point, and the peer pressure, especially the Muslims in the West, must be subject to, especially today, Brother Ali. And okay, let's talk first about us grown-ups, and then the teenagers, and then the children, and also there must be some different peer pressure concerning men or concerning women, and so on. So many important points Brother Luqman touched on, trying to grasp on one of them. And indeed, it's not just about that you don't want to sit with them because they are drinking or they are smoking or they... Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran even warns us in a very serious way about not sitting with people if they are mocking ayatullah or and so on. And they are and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, don't sit with them, and if you do, then you're just like them. إنكم إذا مثلهم. So the peer pressure, we to preserve our dignity, indeed, which only belongs to Allah, and then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then the mu'mineen, as mentioned in the Holy Book. It's not easy because we have to take care of everything.
Well, actually, Mr., you have touched, likewise, Mr. Lukman here, touched a very important attachment to the whole matter, which concerns the people or the Muslim who dwell in the West, and also the trying or the attempt of some Muslim to trivialize things, to say, no, come on, it's just a fun. You are invited by a friend and you are introduced to a wine, for example, and you will feel led backward if you don't do as they do. So I say, come on, once in Rome, do what Romans do. Once, just once, come on, take it. No. If you are trying to ingratiate yourself or try to appease the man of a friend, this one is a taboo if the only means of appeasing the mind of your friend is by violating and infringing the orders of Almighty Allah. Almighty Allah said that Wallahu wa rasuluhu ahaqqu an yurduhu in kanu mu'minin. If you are really true believers, you should not think of making anyone happy except Almighty Allah. And of course, my brother said that la ta'ata li makhluqin fi ma'siyatil khaliq. There is no any door, there is no any chance or opportunity of violating Almighty Allah's order in trying to appease the mind of any human being. Therefore, there is no any excuse whatsoever for someone to try to violate the order of Almighty Allah. And when it comes to saying that, okay, they are disobeying the orders of Almighty Allah, I can just stay with them, I don't have to leave them or something like that. No, this is not right, because during the life of Prophet Muhammad, like you have alluded, if someone is disobeying Almighty Allah, you should try to stop him or avoid him. Try to stop being with him. There were some of people who, during the time of Prophet Muhammad, built a mosque. They built a mosque. You say, they built a mosque. That's very important move. No, they built a mosque in order to bring a kind of split or in order to create a crack amidst the Muslim society. Almighty Allah said that no one should go to that mosque. Almighty Allah said that وَالَّذِينَ اتَّخَذُوا مَسْجِدًا ضِرَارًا وَكُفْرًا وَتَفْرِيقًا بَيْنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَإِرْصَادًا لِمَنْ حَارَبَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ. You know, Almighty Allah was telling the companion and the people who are with Prophet Muhammad and the whole Muslim that those who build the mosque in order to create a rift between the Muslim society, you should not go to them. You should not even befriend them, you know. And also those who were calling Prophet Muhammad, you know, Ra'ina, you know, they want to greet Prophet Muhammad, they will say Ra'ina, you know. Ra'ina in Surah Al-Baqarah, Almighty God said,
Moses
exactly, ya ayyuhallazina amanu la taqulu ra'ina wa qulu anzurna wasma'u. They say Ra'ina layyan bi anfusihim, you know, layyan bi alsinihim wa ta'nan fi din. They were saying this in order to mock Prophet Muhammad. Then Almighty Allah said that these people should not say that, and if you hear them, do not even laugh. Do not, they are mocking, they are joking. Don't laugh for them. So don't befriend them. Don't show that you are associating with them. So anything that is going to infringe the order of Almighty Allah, anything that is going to violate the rules and regulation laid by Almighty Allah, you should not dare to violate it, saying that this is my friend, I should know, come on, let me do what they are doing, or once in Rome, let's do what Romans do. And for the Muslims in the West, of course, they have good opportunity to preach, to call for Islam by their actions. Now, for example, we have seen last two weeks, for example, in Canada, we have got a first news anchor in a TV who happened to be allowed to be wearing her hijab. She did not force anyone to wear hijab while she is reading news or while she is casting
Prime
news.
Minister Trudeau of Canada is really a man who loves humanity.
Exactly. So she is allowed. She didn't force anyone, but she, by her own attitude, even though she has many friends who happen to be not wearing veil, but she thinks that this is her own way and this is how her creator, you know, asked her to do. And she's doing it. She is finally allowed to do it. She is not forcing you, but let me do my own way. I don't have to leave my own identity of being Muslim. I'm not talking about identity of being Arab or of being from a particular country. I'm talking about general identity of Muslim nation, that you are Muslim. Whatever you are going to do, Almighty Allah has laid the way, the modus operandi of doing it. You should just have to do it in order to show that the first and foremost of your, you know, priority is abiding by the orders of Almighty Allah. So if we really mean to be Muslim, we should be Muslim by our actions. We should be Muslim by abiding the orders of Almighty Allah, by practicing, not only talking, practicing. And if someone asks you, okay, come on, let's do this, simple and short, my religion does not allow me to do that. I think this one is so simple. It does not.
And you know what? They will respect you.
They will respect you. And that's why, like, people like Einstein, for example, say that the people who believe in something, whatever, the people who believe in something, whether a religion or any kind of creed, if you have something that you believe in it, those kind of people, this group of people succeed in life more than anyone. So you have Islam, you have religion, believe in it, cling with it, abide by its rules and regulations. Someone asks you to do something, no, I'm sorry, my Islam doesn't allow me to do that. You know, a president from a West went to a Muslim nation trying to shake hands with his secondary school students who happen to be females. And a student saw that, he said she just, you know, bowed down to him. And he stopped at her and said, why? She said that because, you know, my teaching of Islam does not allow me. Respectively, the man, his attention was drawn to her. Why is she doing that? No, because my teaching, the teaching of my religion, simply. And he said, yeah, and he respected that. And this has been known to be one of the teaching of Islam. I don't have to shake my hand with him because he is the president or because he's my visitor. No, this one is not allowed in Islam. I will simply stop doing it, or I will not do it, but I will, you know, respectfully explain my point in that. The flaw we are falling is the fact that people are denying or refusing to do something bad in an aggressive way, saying that I will not do it, or if anyone does it, I will kufrinize him. I will say that he is kafir or something like that. No, I will not do it, and I will tell you my point. Short and simple. If you like it, take it. If you don't like it, let me practice it. Lakum dinukum waliya dini. This is, I think Islam is the easiest way of life. Indeed. And I know one is going to, like, you know, hamper or
Brother Ali, sorry to interrupt you, but we have a phone call from Somalia.
Okay.
It's Brother Hassan from Somalia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Thank you for calling us. Go ahead, Brother Hassan.
Yes. Yes, and I wanted to ask you about peer pressure on this.
Yes.
Okay, in Islamically, it is very, yes, in Islamically, to take part in peer pressure, the way Mr. Lukman has said, is like teenagers today have almost taken by, like in Somalia, what is peer pressure is causing is like chewing mirror. Peer pressure is including chewing mirror. For example, people in Somalia are most of the teenagers have been overtaken by other teenagers to use mirror. They are using mirror together with the victim. How can we overcome this? Which is so in every country, in the Muslim countries, it's effective. Yes, that's my question.
Did you get the question?
Yeah, I get it.
Yes, thank you, Brother Hassan, and all our salutes to our brothers and sisters in Somalia. Thank you very much for watching Huda TV, Brother Hassan. Yes, I think he was directing the question to Brother Lukman, but do you understand the question?
Can you repeat it again?
Yeah, that's why I asked you, because I'm not sure I really
actually, he is asking about the point of, you know, the wisdom of Lukman Hakim when he was admonishing his son of how he's going to live and how he's going to mingle with people. So he is like putting it in his Somalian or Somali society.
And he said they feel the peer pressure in Somalia due to
the crisis there and due to the nature of social life. I think, you know, the best solution of that, you know, considering the social status and the social nature of a country like Somalia with 100% population of Muslims. I think one of the rarest country in the world to have 100% you know, Muslim in the world, even though the conflict which is being sometimes instigated by the West or by some foreign, you know, camouflaging powers. I think the best way is that you should abide by the order of Almighty Allah, and you should avoid being extremist. You know, your brother, a Muslim brother of yours, who happens to be doing something which is not good, or who is bearing a point of view which is not in accordance with yours, should not be your enemy. Come on. Even during the life of Prophet Muhammad, there were many companions who happened to share different points of view, but they remained friends. They remained eating together, praying together, and even when something is brought in the palace or in the place of Prophet Muhammad, you will see it will be given to the one of the companion, and he will give it to his brother, and the brother will give it to the other, and until it rotates and comes back. You see how brothers they are.
Of course, and even if it gets to fighting, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Hujurat, وَإِنْ فِئَتَيْنِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ اقْتَتَلُوا فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا.
فَإِنْ بَغَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا عَلَى الْأُخْرَى فَقَاتِلُوهَا. So فَأَصْلِحُوا.
أصلحوا بينهم. That's the first thing. So even they can be mu'mineen
Yeah.
and still fight together. They are still both mu'mineen.
Yeah.
But please reconcile
Try
them.
to
Yeah,
get
reconcile.
exactly.
That's the main thing.
And Almighty Allah said that was sulhu khair. You know, you better create this kind of, you know, attitude. And of course, people cannot have the same point of view of a whole nation. But people should consider their point of agreement more than the point of disagreement. We have so many points of agreement where we can agree, and we must agree to disagree in certain things. This is the best thing. But if you say that people must do as I do, and anyone who does not do what I'm doing, I'm going to sack him or I'm going to fish him out of Islam, I think you are going to fish many people. I think you will fish majority of Muslims out of Islam, because you are still learning from Islam, and the teaching of Islam is always in increase. You will have to know Islam in accordance with the time, in accordance with the nature, and accordance with the situation of the people. Even Prophet Muhammad answered different questions to different companions with the same question. They would ask him the same question, but he would give them different answers.
Correct.
In accordance with their situation. So let's be more flexible. Let's be more, you know, soft. Let's be doing Islam in accordance with the way Prophet Muhammad did it, and use al-hikmah wal-mau'izatun hasana, wisdom and a good way of preaching. If we do that, Islam can be suitable at any society in the world. Not to talk of Somalia, the 100 over 100 Muslim nation.
MashaAllah.
Inshallah, Somalia is going to be fine, and it will come back to the peace, inshallah.
Ameen, ameen. And you know, barakallahu feekum, Brother Ali. And you know what you said reminded me of a hadith, and correct me, brothers, please, if I make a mistake. لن يشاد هذا الدين أحد
إلا غلب.
إن الدين يسر.
إلا غلبة.
إن الدين يسر ولن يشاد على هذا الدين أحد إلا غلبة.
Yes. So I mean, yeah, the religion. Take it easy.
Exactly.
Take it easy. You cannot, you cannot just do it my way. Do it my way. But
I mean, can I add what you are
please.
going to talk?
Please.
Especially we are in the Muslim country. For instance, in my country, in Indonesia, we are the biggest Muslim country in the term of the population, and Indonesian Muslim, they are following the school of thought, a Shafi'i school of thought. This is the problem that we have, because some people, if you are praying and then you don't follow the rules of Shafi'i school of thought, the other people will blame you, because we need to learn how to respect to each other, especially for the student who are learning the different opinions, especially in the term of the fiqh. We need to respect them. Whatever the madhab that you are following, it doesn't matter. As long as you are Muslim, we just have one identity of being Muslim. In the hereafter, Allah will not ask you what school of thought, what madhab you are following. Allah will ask you the three questions: who is your Lord, who is your messenger, and what is your book? These three questions only. No matter the school of thought you don't belong to, it doesn't matter. That is why we need to respect to each other, especially in the term of the different opinion in the school of thought, because the fiqh is very broad. We can worship Allah in the different ways as long as we have the evidence from the Quran and from Hadith. So,
like Brother Ali said, I mean, the common ground is so huge. I mean, you're just looking for this small, tiny bit of difference, and you're fighting over it. But you have the whole of this table is the common ground. Come on, the common ground is huge. SubhanAllah.
You see, that's what.
Yeah, we had a report.
Okay.
We had a report. Sorry to have interrupted. Sorry to have interrupted you, brothers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, welcome.
We have a report now that we have to watch. Then come back to Brother Lukman and Brother Ali here in the studio. Please stay with us.
The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated that there is no person whom Allah puts in charge of others, and when he dies he is insincere to his subjects, but Allah will forbid paradise to him. This notion is not confined to rulers of nations or communities, but extends to parents as well, who are guardians over their children. Thus, parents should not wait until their children become adolescents to teach them basic Islamic principles, which will in turn help to prevent greater catastrophes during their teenage and adult years. If a parent establishes him or herself as a reliable Islamic role model early on, a child is less likely to be influenced by peer pressure. In cases wherein a child encounters problems, such as issues related to bullying, self-esteem, or uncertainty about the future, he or she will be more likely to seek help from a parent rather than outside, potentially less trustworthy sources. Building upon this idea, a parent should ensure that other sources from inside the home do not negatively influence their children. For example, by watching inappropriate television shows or movies, a young person may develop unrealistic ideas concerning their body image, which could lead to eating disorders. Moreover, over-attachment to electronic devices can distance a young person from his or her Islamic obligations, parents, and community. It should be mentioned that parents ought to be realistic in their expectations. Not all children will necessarily grow up to become engineers or doctors. Hence, it is necessary to be supportive of their endeavors so long as they are practical and not contrary to Islamic teachings. Likewise, parents must realize that their children will be prone to mistakes, and that there is a clear difference between blatant disobedience and minor errors that are common among all children.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for watching the report, and welcome back. Brothers, you were speeding before I interrupted you. Brother Luqman, I believe you had
yes,
a thought that you wanted to complete.
Yes, relating to this issue, we need to understand, especially we are living in Muslim countries, we have different school of thought. We have to be careful in debating on or dealing with this issue, because our brother have different opinion regarding to the school of thought, and then we are not going to be kind to him because he just follow particular school of thought. Of course, the different opinions of the school of thought, it is something acceptable, and also we don't need to argue in this matter as long as you are praying, whether you are doing kunut in the Fajr prayer or not. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is that you have to pray Fajr. It doesn't matter whether you are using kunut or not, because some people don't understand this issue very well.
I'm glad that you are really focusing on it, Brother Luqman and Brother Ali. And since subhanallah, and since even if we're talking about a difference in the school of thought, the common ground is so much bigger, so we have to unite. So what if we are talking about political differences, or differences on economic issues, or differences on, so we have to unite. I mean, please, if anyone is fighting the other, reconcile and unite, even if there are differences in schools of thought. And I guess political differences or in economic views is much less than thought. So, subhanAllah.
Yeah, you see, actually talking about this hammering, I was afraid that it can just twist us out of the main topic. But I think it's of vital importance, because, if you just take two examples of Imam Shafi'i, for example, he used to have two ways of thinking, two schools of thought. Before he came to Egypt, he used to have a different madhab. And when he came to Egypt, he got a different point of view. In life, as long as you are living, you're going to be learning constantly and simultaneously. The more you live, the more you learn. So don't be so extreme in saying that it is only my point of view that is going to be right. Imam Malik always say that, رأيي صواب ويحتمل الخطأ ورأيك خطأ يحتمل الصواب. My point of view is right. it might be wrong, and your point of view is wrong, it might be right. So I shouldn't be so
vice versa.
extreme.
He
And
said
vice
about his,
versa.
yeah, he said about his point of view,
Yeah.
that it's wrong, that could be right.
Could be right,
Yeah.
and yours that is wrong could be right. So it happens like that. So the main point I'm trying just to allude to is the fact that, you know, we should just be moderate, and we should be kind of less extremist about this one. And this one has to do with friends who are living around us. Okay, because I'm praying, I should not just consider my friend who does not pray that he is not a good Muslim. I should not consider that. No, I should rather pray and try to ask him to pray. I should be the influence in my peer group, in my friends,
That's
by
another
praying.
point here.
Exactly.
Not only avoiding the
Exactly. Don't avoid them. Try to mingle with them,
yes.
and try to force your own influence
pressure, yeah, your
into
own
them.
peer
Because isolating yourself, you said, no, I'm going to isolate myself. I'm not going to mingle with them because they are doing sins. They are committing crimes that they may change me. Then you are not a powerful Muslim. You should be a powerful Muslim. Powerful Muslim, which Prophet Muhammad said that al-mu'minul qawiyyu khayrun وأحب إلى الله من المؤمن الضعيف وفي كل خير. You should try to be a powerful. Powerful means influential. He does not pray. He is your friend. Try to change him. Not allow him to change you, but you try to change him. You are praying, he doesn't. So you pray so that he could copy from you and epitomize the character and attitude of praying, so that you could be praying. This is a simple way. You know, a peer group you can never live without. You can never avoid. And that's why, you know, parents have a very big challenge in their own shoulder, that I should know where my friend or where my son goes, who are his friends in club, in schools. I can know that by his attitude. Any change of his attitude, any change in his attitude could have to do with his peer group, with his friends, whether in club, whether in school, whether in the neighboring, the football he is playing in the street, for example. You understand? There is something he is learning. So I should have to focus on that one. I should have to know what he is doing and with whom he is doing. From there, I could be correcting him. When I'm focusing and correcting him, his mistakes, then he is going to be an influence in his friends, and therefore he will be doing something good. So at this particular juncture, I think in our global life, in this global, now the world is just a global village now.
Yeah.
If you don't see the
nobody
friends,
will be able to break walls or
exactly, we are just living. You can see one living in
or make
Egypt.
anyone pay for walls.
You
No
can,
one will be
and you
able
can
to
see
do
someone
that.
living in Egypt having friends in America, in England, in Australia, and somewhere else. How could you know that? You can just focus on his attitude. From there, you will know the influence of his friends on him, or the influence of his on his friends. I think this one is very, very important, and it is going to pave way for a better attitude, because we cannot live alone. And of course, the statistic of the world population is skyrocketing. The index is doubling, is multiplying. Like Nigeria, you said before we started, and Egypt, you said before we started. In Nigeria, in 10 years, we are going to be 250 million. Egypt are expecting to be, 100 in few years to come.
Yes.
So you see, the number is multiplying. The world is no longer in isolation. No one
It's
can
going
live alone.
exponentially. Yeah. So, I mean,
Exactly. So this kind of paramount number we are living, you cannot live alone. Just try to know whom you are going to live with. Try to know their attitude. Try to know how you are going to learn from people and learn for better. This one opens the ways of learning, open the ways of getting influence, and try to get the best one. We have so many things. Just choose the best one. Don't say that I will take no one. No, as we have bad friends, we have excellent good friends who can show you. You can see your friend who is praying all the time, but you are not constant in praying. Copy him. But don't copy your friend who always stays playing in the PlayStation, or sitting in the club, or sitting in the cafe, wasting his time. Copy that friend of yours who scores good mark in examination. Don't copy that your friend who is always absenting from school. Copy that your friend who does not smoke. Avoid that your friend who is making you a passive smoker. You are just sitting with him. He is smoking. He is making you, at the same time while he is smoking, a passive smoker. Medically and psychologically and, of course, religiously, you are harming yourself. وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ. You should not put yourself into disaster. So let's just know whom we are going to live with, and our peers are going to be a good pressure for us, and they are going to be a good and better influence for us, rather than, tormenting or tarnishing the whole attitude or the whole image. It is contradicting. You see fathers building the attitude of their kids at home, and there is someone outside home just waiting for them for just a minute or some 10 minutes to waste and damage everything. This one is very, very, disapproving. So we have to be careful about that. Parents should be careful, and also the children should be careful about whom they are going to be friends with. This is going to bring a final solution about all this.
Barakallahu feekum, brother. Brother Ali, Brother Lukman will be taking a short break. When we come back, we will continue our discussion. Please, dear viewers, stay with us. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back, dear brothers and sisters. Brother Luqman, I wanted to ask you about something that, an idea that I got from Brother Ali's words. Wouldn't TV and social media and so on be considered some sort of peer pressure today?
Yes, I think we have to understand that peer pressure can come from different aspects. Whether it is from social media, for instance, you have sort of ideal and you laugh, but you know that not all movie stars, they are good. Sometimes we have the people who are not good, and then the children will try to copycat to follow them. This is something bad. So we, as a parent, we should understand all these things, and also we have to explain, to have sort of communication with our children, what is going on. We have to be friend of them, because some parents, they don't have time to have communication with their children. Maybe they are busy, but
they shouldn't.
Yes, but as long as you have the responsibility, you have to educate your children, you have to be good example of them, you have to take care of them, what is going on, and also you have to explain something to them. So in this discussion, we as a parent, you should be a role model, because if you are going to be role model for your children will look at what you are doing. And if your children are looking that you are praying on time, for instance, you are giving the charity to the needy and poor people, and you are going to do something good in front of them, they will follow you. Yes. We need to be a good example for our children. But if you are not going to be a good example for your children, your children will follow something bad from you. And also we need to understand what our children are watching on the TV. We need to know that, because many children are watching something bad, and then it will give sort of bad,
foul language maybe, or
yes,
or bad ideas, bad imagination,
ideas, and something like that. We need to explain and to have communication with them.
Yes. Barakallahu feekum, brother. Brother Ali, the Muslims also living in Muslim countries feel the peer pressure, not only those who live in the West, but you mentioned the cafes and so on that are so that are filling streets of many Muslim capitals. But for which is more difficult, you think? Because for myself, I lived my childhood and during the teenage years at times in Muslim countries and at times in Western countries. What do you, and you yourself have traveled a lot, young and old, not old, I mean, but what is more difficult, facing up to the peer pressure at home or in a Muslim country, which is another sort of home, or in non-Muslim countries, be it in the West or even in the East, like China, for instance, or Japan?
Well, actually, you know, the reason why we are now all capitalizing on the vitality of peer group is the fact that it's merely indirectly, you know, it happens indirectly. And psychologically, an indirect, you know, acquisition of something, an indirect teaching is more powerful than direct. If you just tell your boy, do this, he is likely 60% will reluctantly do it. But if you indirectly like him to do it, indirectly, he will almost 90% do it. Why? Because indirect, that is kind of enticement. You are enticing someone to do it, at the same time giving him his own freedom. So if you give me my own freedom, then I will do it willingly, that I feel so I like to do it. So when it comes to, for example, the society you live in, you are living in the West, for example, or in a Far East where you're living in a society which is not merely Muslim. I think the best way is to realize the fact that everybody has his own identity. Everybody. If you go to the West, it's not all Western society Christian. There are many Westerners who are not Christians, for example. Many of them, there are who are not really Christians. There are who are not neither Muslims nor Christians.
Right. There are atheists.
Exactly, atheists and so many creeds. So you have to show your own. Don't give up saying that, oh, because they are not, they are so, I should follow them. No, rather, as they remain in their own, you will have to remain in your own. And you have to know the way how friendship takes place or took place during the life of Prophet Muhammad, for example. If we take this teaching, see the friendship between Prophet Muhammad and Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. They were one of the best friends ever existed on this planet. See, when Prophet Muhammad came to Abu Bakr Siddiq and told him that, I become prophet of Almighty Allah. Abu Bakr Siddiq, when Prophet Muhammad received the prophethood, was absent. Abu Bakr Siddiq. When he came back, he was met by a friend telling him that your best friend is now claiming to be a prophet. Abu Bakr Siddiq, as a man, did he really say that he is prophet? He received message from Almighty Allah? He said, yes, he said that. He said, لَوْ قَالَهَا فَقَدْ صَدَقَ. If he really said that, I automatically agree with him. And I believe him. See the trust? Because he never tested Prophet Muhammad of being a liar. So he can never be a trustworthy in all things and come to tell lie in this one. No. So you have to showcase your own qualities of being good Muslim, of being harboring good attitude, so that automatically you will indirectly influence. Prophet Muhammad did not tell Abu Bakr, trust me. No. Indirectly, because he has been doing, he has been showcasing his attitude. So if you do this one, indirectly, you are teaching people to automatically follow you. We have in Nigeria, for example, the case of some people who are considered to be like, you know, some of the nemesis of society, who are, of course, Muslims, but they are showcasing a bad posture, a bad face of Islam, because they are saying that if you don't have their own point of view, you are out of Islam. So now even Muslims are frowning at their faces. Now, thanks so much, for example, I get so much amazed with, like Al-Azhar University. When we come from Africa, from Europe, from Asia to study in Azhar, they'll say, okay, we will teach you different schools of thought. Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanbali, Hanafi, and other creeds, almost 7 schools of thought. They will teach you not to see Islam as something very tight and rigid and conservative. Maliki, if you think the point of view of Maliki is more suitable to you, follow it. If Shafi'i is very suitable for you, follow it. What are your criterion? Your criterion are the fact that Imam Malik has his own reason has his own proof for that. Imam Shafi'i has his own hadith for that. Imam Ahmad has his own proof for that. And that's why some of the Imam say that ikhtilafu ummati rahma. If they disagree on someone will say that wash it 3 times. Someone will say no, only one is okay. Someone will tell you, okay, do this, do that. Each one of them you do, you are fine. Just to show you that Islam is very, very flexible and it can suit any circumstances. So whichever circumstances you befall at, whichever circumstances befalls you, it means that you will have an exit.
And I don't have to follow this madhab in everything I do. I mean, it's Islam. Islam is bigger than any madhab.
Than any madhab. Whatever I'm doing, I'm just doing within the same border.
Yeah, exactly.
Within the, see how wide is it? So that's why Islam is likely to lead any country, to lead any nation. Because if you take it, you are going to say, you're going to see different ways. Different ways. The one you is very befitting to your own situation. Do it. You are still under the borders of Islam. Right. You are still
borders
within
of La ilaha
illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. And that's why Prophet Muhammad said that do not send out of Islam anyone who say La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. With this one, we will have our own peer group and peer friends, and of course mingle with them, but still remaining within the borders of our identity of Islam and showing our Islam by our actions, and let our peers, whether Muslims or non-Muslim, learn from us. I think by this one, we will have a remedy of all the crises and all the dilemma that are likely to, engulf our way of being a practicing Muslim.
Barakallahu feekum, brother. Barakallahu feekum. Brother Luqman, we only have 2 or 3 minutes left. Do you want to wrap it up in a certain specific way? Or if I wanted to ask you about teenagers specifically, because peer pressure when it comes to teenagers is huge. And how should parents deal with that?
I think the problem that teenager has is that they are looking the identity. They are looking for their identity. They don't know even themselves. So the best thing that we have to do relating to the peer pressure of the teenager is that we, as a parent, we have to be a good example. We have to show something good for our children. And then in the final our discussion, I would like to address to Muslim in the West. If you are living in the West, it is the big opportunity for you to invite people to the religion of Allah. You have to show that you are Muslim, you have the identity of being Muslim, you have to be good example from them, that you don't drink, you don't smoke, for instance. You can show something good about Islam, and also use this opportunity to invite people to the religion of Allah. For instance, you have to start dealing with them with the common ground. For instance, if you are inviting the Christian people, you should discuss the common ground between Islam and Christianity. For instance, that we actually, as a Muslim, we respect Jesus, that you consider as God, the Son of God. We believe in Jesus and
as a prophet.
As the prophet. If you don't believe in the Jesus, for instance, our faith is not totally complete. We have to explain something like that to them. Is that there is similarity, there is common ground between Islam and Christianity. And the most important thing is that you have to do da'wah by your action, because action speaks louder than a word. To be good example, to be good Muslim, to keep your identity is something that is the most important thing if you are living in the West. You cannot say that, I'm sorry, I cannot be a good Muslim because I get influenced with the community. This is not accepted. You have to follow your religion. You have to be good example in front of the Western audience. So this is the most important message that I'm trying to address to the Muslims who are living in Muslim countries.
Barakallahu feekum, Brother Luqman. Indeed, there's common ground between all of humanity. So the common ground, I guess, was a very important theme that we came out with in this episode. I'm personally, I wanted the show to continue, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have, dear brothers and sisters. On behalf of we thank very much Brother Ali Fadl from the beloved Nigeria, and Brother Lukman Hakim from the beloved Indonesia. And thank you very much, dear brothers and sisters, for watching us. Until we meet again here on Huda Tonight. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Ali will be here tomorrow to present the show, inshallah. He's back from his short vacation. So Brother Ali Coleman will be back here, inshallah, on Thursday to present the program. Until we meet again on Sunday, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.